Ruben, thanks for showing up. Like I said before, only only the RESCG slate showed up, and I think maybe we should see if you guys can change your name to the Sunshine Slate because you're out here in the light, uh, you know. So I don't know if you want to do a quick introduction of yourself, and then we'll get to issues that are either in the comments or that just come up. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Well, real quick, I worked with Ruben also when I was a business agent, and so when I heard that these guys were all trying to run for officer, I immediately recommended him for secretary treasurer. One, because of his financial background, but two, because when I would be in grievance hearings with him, he's very observant, and I think he reads a room well. And so in that regard, I think during negotiations, he would be a perfect backup for the chair, right? So without further ado, Ruben, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. First of all, can you hear me? I've been having technical difficulties all morning.
You're good.
All right, awesome. First of all, thank you, Brian, for hosting this event. Thank you for everything that you do for the union. For those that don't know, Brian did create this Facebook, and in my opinion, this Facebook has been the difference between this contract and previous contracts. I realize this contract isn't good enough, but without this Facebook, I'm confident that we would have accepted that first offer of 9%. This Facebook has brought us together, and it is a change maker. So thank you, Brian, for everything that you do, not just the Facebook. My name is Ruben Castro. I am running for Secretary Treasurer for the represented employees of SCG United. A little bit about myself. I'm currently an ETR out of Murrieta base. I am a shop steward as well at the Murrieta base, and I was previously a shop steward at the Riverside base as well. I started out in the call center in San Dimas. I transferred to the call center in, I started out in Redlands, and then I transferred to the call center in San Dimas. After that, I went to the Riverside base as an ETR, and now I'm currently serving as an ETR in Murrieta. Let's see, I've served alongside Brian in some step 2 grievance hearings at the tower. I've attended VAST. I've helped out fellow members in many ways in investigatories and fighting back against management. I've been very vocal against our own union management. I was one of a couple who stood up to Joe when he tried to silence us during this last RTA to require all shop stewards to not say anything negative. I openly said I will not abide by that order, and I will also not resign, because he was saying that we had to resign if we wouldn't say positive things or if we said anything negative. If not, he would be removing us.
Did he remove you?
No, he did not. I did not give him any evidence, though. I'm not an idiot.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah. I just know that I haven't met anyone he's removed yet.
Yeah, no.
Plenty of people would have been vocal about it.
I also thought it was more important that I stay as a steward than give him an easy opening to remove me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's a little bit about my history with the company. Prior to the company, I do have a financial background. My father was an accountant, real estate broker, and owned multiple businesses, and he heavily thought it was important for me to learn have a financial education. As a kid, I would assist him with his books. Literally, I remember sitting at the kitchen table or in his office, and we would be reconciling ledgers. We would be reconciling all of the books. By my early teens, I was doing our own taxes, both for my parents as well as family members. I still do. Later on, I opened up my own income tax preparation company, where I ran an income tax preparation company, doing people's taxes for them. I ultimately ended it because I didn't like it. It was 12 months of work in 2 months of time during tax season, and it's
Yeah.
just you're working 20-hour days, and it was extremely stressful and bad for my family. I love it here. You know, there's a lot of things that we can fix, but at the end of the day, it is a good place to
Yeah.
work, and it's something worth fighting for, and that's why I'm here, because I want to fight. I want to make this place what it should be. You know, make the gas company great again. that's that's kind of my mantra with my buddies,
Yeah.
because this used to be a place where, you know, if you worked here on level 4 or higher, you could buy a home. You know, there's a lot of people, you know, this raise is good, but I would you buy your house, bro? Because I guarantee you it was more than 10 years ago. And if your mortgage is only $1,200 a month, $1,500 a month, yeah, any raise is great. But try going to buy a house today
Yeah.
and see if you can afford a 5,000 a month mortgage for a house out in the middle of nowhere. You know,
Right.
I'm lucky. I bought a house 4 years ago, and my mortgage is $3,200, and that's reasonable. But if I was to buy my same house today, 3 years later, it'd be 4,500 bucks, and
I
I
don't even know how
can't
people
afford
do it.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, but we should be able to,
Yeah.
you know, and that's why I'm here, man. I'm here to try to make this place better. And with that, I'm open to questions.
Yeah. Uh, where do we start? So we're on your financial background. Why don't we start there? If we were to task you, because you'd be full time, and in fact, the union employs staff, and one of those staff members would be basically your right hand person. Um, and so, if we were to um, task you with what they call costing the contract, which I'm sure you heard in shop steward training, costing the contract. Um, I mean, does that sound like something that you can actually be efficient at, or do you think we'd have
Yeah.
to again hire more people to?
Yeah. You know, I don't want to overstate my qualifications like some other people on this running for office, but
Okay.
basically, I have taken accounting classes in the back in my past.
Yeah.
I've worked with QuickBooks. I know how to run a spreadsheet. I did one yesterday at Vast, to figure out, you know, better better opportunities for the different members throughout the Inland Empire with how many days off they could possibly request.
Yeah.
And I was able to get some wins doing that. I absolutely could run some costing scenarios, and like Bill posted on a in response to someone last night, like do some research into what the company has and what stuff costs and what's reasonable to ask for.
Yeah.
You know, I think 65% is would be great, but I think it's a big ask. And but let's find that right number. I know it's not 20,
Yeah.
but if
Um,
you know one of the things I do want to say, because you know there's only so much time, and I think it's most important. If I was elected, my goal would be to cut waste. Um, I was looking over the LM2, the available information that is required by the union
ah,
to file,
yeah.
and I took the time to compare it to previous years, and
Okay.
you know I did make some interesting findings. In 2024, in comparison to 2023, we took in $900,000 more than the previous year. We had $900,000 more in income. If you were to
Wow.
ask Joe, what's the current financial status of the union, he would say it's terrible, it's poor. But we took in close to $1 million more, and we laid somebody off. So essentially, we had $1 million extra dollars. Where did that
Yeah,
move?
and she was laid off for lack of funds.
Correct. Where did that money
She,
go, man?
yeah.
It's all waste. If you look at the salaries of the full-time officers, and then you look at right next to their names the disbursements that they did for quote unquote union business, you know, let's look at previous administrations. Let's look at Hoffman. He averaged about 20,000 in additional disbursements. Javier, about 18 to 20,000. Last year, Joe did 45, and then I'm sorry, 2 years ago he did 45, more than double, and then last year he did 60, triple. Now I'm not saying that's not all legitimate, but how do you go to double and triple the amount of disbursements?
Well, let's say you win, right? But the remainder of Joe's slate stays intact. Under the current bylaws, one of your jobs would be to exercise discretion over reimbursements. And so if you were to find, or if Joe were to turn into you a reimbursement for parking at the gas company tower for $50, is that something you would approve?
No, absolutely not. When the company's offering a shuttle service for free, which I have utilized, and it's not that inconvenient. It's a 10-minute walk, first of all, if you don't want to use the shuttle. And if you do use the shuttle, it's 15 minutes. So I don't see why that's necessary. And it's stuff like that where, overreach has been exercised multiple times. And let's talk about solutions, though. The solution to that, I think, is not just, a treasurer with some spine and good ethics. I think that the solution is accountability, which would mean changing the bylaws to require the entire executive board to approve reimbursements, not just two people, not just the president and the secretary treasurer co-signing each other's BS. If all reimbursements had to go through the election committee, now you have every single regional officer requiring approval of it. And it's less likely that many people are going to co-sign BS. And that would be one of my proposals for a bylaw change. And it would definitely solve a lot of these problems where there's overspending left and right.
Yeah, it sounds like you and Bill are on the same page, because I know he's had that discussion about there should be no more secret people who are friends are able to approve each other's reimbursements and quietly just, cut those checks.
And another big thing that I want to do, which does not require a bylaw change, and I would do it immediately, is I would post the monthly treasurer's report on the website with behind the password, of course, because it should only be available to members. But any member in good standing can log in and without even having to request it, see the monthly treasurer's report once it's been approved by the board. Another thing is allow for digital copies. If a member wants to see like a breakdown of a specific line item on the treasurer's report, they could simply email me and say, hey, can you give me the info on this line? And I would shoot off an email with a PDF of it. This is the member's money. There should be no secrets here.
So there is a requirement for you to treat every member equally. And I guess your interpretation then is that instead of requiring them to come to the union hall, you would either create a policy or ask for a bylaw change wherein you could actually just email anyone who asks for it or post it on the website even if they're not asking for it.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, because it's not required of you.
I mean, I don't see why that's a big deal. That's what should be happening.
I agree. No, I agree. It's not what the old guard does. So
when I would go to union meetings before the current administration, they would pass around the treasurer's report at the beginning of the meeting. Now, granted, nobody looked at it, but at least they did it. And you know what? I was one of those few that looked at it, and that's what I discovered.
Of us that looked at it because we have some weird questions.
And I asked if I can keep it, and they let me keep it because that's what's right.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a lot of disbursements that are being made. There's a lot of people being activated on union business that is being abused. Now, I'm all for spending where it's necessary to get what's right for our membership. If you're a steward and you need to do a grievance investigation, absolutely, dude. We'll pay for your time. Like if you need to go to do something legitimately for the union, in no way would I ever get in the way of that base visit, etc. But
But you'd
when
also be open about it. It sounds like, hey, you know, if someone just wants to know where's my shop steward, where's my region officer? Oh, they're cleared on union business today.
correct.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't actually prepare any conversational pieces or questions, and I'll be honest, I'm kind of blown away. I know I thought you were going to be a good candidate, but you know, based off what you're saying, like I'm kind of blown away. So I don't know. Let me see if the chat has questions because I'm excited
While you're
now.
looking at the while you're looking at the chat, I did write some notes down that I wanted to bring up.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's what this is for. And if any of the other slate um, or independent candidates want to jump on, I mean, that's what this is for. Uh, I'm looking right now, and I don't see anybody else in there. Looks like Mark Moore is also trying to join, but yeah, go ahead.
You know, one of the expenses that stood out to me on the LN2 was that we spent $48,000 last year on a lobbyist. And,
Yeah,
you know, you were the one who brought this to our attention a while back, that there's this website that you can go to, Cal Matter Digital Democracy. And you've posted this multiple times in the past on the Facebook. And it's a great website, by the way. It's a great tool.
yeah,
And if you look up Utility Workers Union of America, UWUA, the lobbyist firm will come up. And we spent $48,000 essentially for three 10-second statements at three different, two Assembly bills and a Senate bill, all of which were very, very loosely related to our industry. So essentially, we paid $15,000 for 10 seconds of these people's time three times. And if you look at it, it's a joke because they'll post a video of the actual statement. They say their name. This is so and so on behalf of like six different unions, Teamsters, blah, you know, the teachers union, blah blah blah. And at the end, Utility Workers of America, and all he said was in favor. And then another person gets on. It's a line of like 60 lobbyists in front of the Assembly or the Senate trying to show that their people approve. And if you look at the findings on these bills, there was no nays. They voted unanimously yes. So these were bills that were going to pass anyway. Like there was no like reason for us to pay for a lobbyist here. And it's stuff like this where it's like, well, our national takes 35% of our dues. I think the national should be picking up that expense, not the local. And that's a small thing, but it's things like that that I want to get rid of.
yeah. And so if you get in office and you reach out to them and you say, "Show me your body of work," if there's not enough there, you're going to want to cut back on that. Because
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not saying get rid of lobbying, but why don't we have our president do it?
yeah,
If we're going to spend 48 grand, let's have a guy whose vested interest is in like saying more than you know, I support, you know, in support. Like spend your 2 minutes saying why you support it. Go shake some hands. Go to the Assembly. Go to the Senate. Go to Sacramento, you know, or even Washington D.C. You know, for those $48,000 could be spent much better with Bill going out there.
yeah,
So, you know, I'm not against spending the money per se. I'm against the, you know, spending the money poorly.
yeah. What else? Because I'm interested in what else. What other ideas you've had?
Well, I want to bring this union into the 21st century. So no more paper records, you know. But another thing is we're currently on a stream. So why do we need a union hall? Why do we need this $1.5 million debt that's, by the way, going to be coming due soon with a balloon payment that we don't have the money for? And some people are talking about using the strike fund for, which I'm 100% against. We are in a new time now where we can have our meetings digitally. And one of the ideas that was floated, which I am in full support of, is selling the building at a profit. It's currently, the comparables are at about 2.5 million, 2.4 million. So we could potentially gain $800,000, $900,000. Buy two locations, two small offices on opposite sides of the district, of the territory rather, and like let's say one in the south, one in the north, $400,000 each, a small little office. We don't need a huge office, and then rent location in the middle. We're currently paying $10,000 in our mortgage anyway, interest only. So essentially, we're renting it. Spend half of that and have three locations, two bought and paid for. no payment, and half of the expense of a $5,000 lease somewhere central. Now we have representation throughout our territory. I think that just makes more sense. There's things like reaching out to IBEW and looking at how they run things, because they currently don't have 3 full-time officers, and they get way more done than we do. They only have one. They have a business manager model where the business manager is full-time and he handles last-minute stuff, and the president, the secretary, the various other executive positions are part-time. You save tons of money that way, because then the company pays all of the medical benefits, the pension, the 401k match, the vacation time, not the union. The union only pays for actual work.
There's people who would argue that, you need 3 full-time officers. You need 3 full-time staff. Well, actually, now 2 full-time staff. I mean, if you get in there and you see that there's a necessity for more or less, are you going to be able to put together like a comprehensive package for the membership to vote on? Because ultimately, you're talking about bylaw changes. If you're talking
Absolutely.
about that.
Absolutely, yeah, and I mean, this all has to be approved by the membership. These are proposals.
Okay.
If the membership is not okay, and let's talk about that. Bylaw changes should be severable. This is severable. That's a hard word to say. When we vote, we shouldn't be voting yes or no on 10 different things. We should be voting yes or no on every single issue that we're putting to vote. If there's 10 issues on the ballot, you should be able to vote for every single issue, yay or nay. And maybe you're on board for 9 of them and you're not on board for 1 of them. So you vote yes on 9, you vote no on the 1. And
yeah, no, I know you guys have talked to me about that, and I think that's a really good idea. I think it was the number 1 complaint is, hey, this thing would have passed, but you want to touch the strike fund, so that's a no.
Absolutely. In response to your question about needing full-time officers, if the need's there, we could activate people, clear people for 10 days at a time, come back to work one day, and go back out for another 10 days. So essentially, I mean, you're working 1 day a month on the company dime. Now the company can get, wise to it and then start charging us back for some of the benefits and stuff. But
or come after that in the next contract negotiation. But yeah.
For now, it's in our favor.
Yeah.
Also, level 9 pay would be gone, because if you're cleared, you're getting paid whatever you get paid.
True.
So Joe's a level 4 right now. If he was working for us, he would get paid for actual hours worked at level 4.
I think he's a lead, so he'd be a 6. But yeah, that's 3 pay grades lower.
Well, either way, he's a 6. I thought he was just a CSR, but either way, it's still a savings.
No, absolutely, and yeah. This has been refreshing. I don't know if you have more. I'm willing to talk about it,
another proposal would be getting away from paper checks. We for so long. I mean, who still uses paper checks?
Well, Belinda says you need to countersign, and so that's why we still do that.
Well, one of the I don't know if you've heard of modern technology, but one of the features that many banks offer is a dual sign, where essentially you would have to get it approved by 2 different electronic signatures. So you're accomplishing the countersigning feature in an electronic way, and that you still have a record. And everything that a check offers is available electronically, and it is already utilized. We're not reinventing the wheel here. It's already in place in a lot of other institutions. I would also allow union meetings, like the one coming up on March 5th in Riverside, to be streamed on the website behind the member login.
Okay.
Why are we hiding this stuff from the membership?
I mean, yeah.
So,
I'm excited.
Those are some of my ideas. Those are some of my ideas. I know there's a lot of people that want to talk. Is there anything you wanted to ask me? If not, I would yield the floor.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm really glad you came on. We're getting a ton of comments. I can't really keep up. I don't know. I'm sorry, Caitlin. I don't know what happened. There is somebody else, Mark. I don't know if you're available now, and maybe we can talk to you about your candidacy for trustee. And thank you, Ruben. That was refreshing.
Thank you, Brian. And please vote for represented employees of SCG United. Have a good day.
Yeah, I'm going to. All right, thanks.